Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So these 49 days left until the current transfer window shuts. So far this summer, we have got one player on the board through Daniel James, who of course paid £15 million for, with initial add-ons included, which did potentially rise it to around 17 or 18 million pounds. But of course Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's going to want to build on that, and he's going to want to bring another 4 or 5 more players into Manchester United this summer. I think Solskjaer, reflecting back last month, basically said he wants our transfer business, completed by the beginning of next month. I think we are expected, to complete the majority of our transfer business by the 7th of July, and by the time, the players do go on pre-season tour and all that. So that is some very, very positive news. I think the spending spree is around 200 odd million pounds Solskjaer's got, but I think, actually, reports were coming out yesterday. This was coming from ESPN. Mark Ogden, he says Manchester United have only got £100 million to spend this summer. So I don't believe there's a lot of credibility in that, to be quite honest with you, because obviously, £100 million is not enough, to get the number of players that we do need. And obviously, if we do get the deal finalised there for Wan-Bissaka, which is looking very, very likely now, it could actually happen today. His transfer to Manchester United, could be fully completed. That would mean we'd only have £27 million left to spend, on getting a central defender, a midfielder, and a right winger and all that. And obviously, we're not going to be able to do that with £27 million. So if we do get the deal finalised from Wan-Bissaka, obviously it's going to take Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's net spend to around £73 million, of course. But I think it's looking very imminent anyway that Wan-Bissaka, of course, is going to be our second signing this summer, which is very, very good news. Obviously, he's been one of our priority targets. Obviously, he's been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets, and obviously he's been on our agenda for quite some time. Obviously, the reports broke out a couple of days ago. This came from Duncan Castles, saying that, we have agreed a world record fee with Crystal Palace for Wan-Bissaka, and I think the fee is around £55 million. Obviously, this will make him the most expensive fullback in world football, also making the most expensive English defender of all time and all that. So basically, we had previously we had 2 bids, turned down from Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, the last bid was £50 million. We had turned down. Obviously, we didn't offer £50 million up front. It was £35 million up front with £15 million in add-ons. But Palace had turned this down because obviously, Crystal Palace, weren't happy, with the structure of the offer. And Palace had basically told us, that they want around £45 or £50 million up front, with add-ons included and all that. So it's looking very imminent. It's coming to Manchester United. Also, before that, we had a £40 million bid turned down for him, but he's actually informed Crystal Palace that he does want to join Manchester United this summer. And reports did say yesterday we are set to hold more talks with Crystal Palace within the next 48 hours over getting the transfer fully completed and all. So it could actually be fully finalised today. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka is only 21 years of age, plus he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talent to Manchester United this summer. And obviously he's 21, like I said, and obviously he's going to fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talent and all that. And so it's very, very good news indeed. And he's predominantly a right back. Initially, when he was younger, he was an out-and-out winner, was Wan-Bissaka. But obviously, as he developed, he got rotated as a right back. But he has been a Crystal Palace player since the age of 11. Graduated from their youth system. Only made his senior debut in February of last year. So obviously, last season established himself as a first-team regular. I think reflecting on his impressive performances last season, he got he won Palace's Player of the Year and all that. And I think he has made about 42 senior appearances for Crystal Palace, and obviously he's still got 3 years left on his contract. But obviously, Wan-Bissaka is going to want to rejuvenate his career. He's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. But I do believe he'll address our defensive deficiencies fantastically well, because obviously we've got issues defensively. Obviously, that was proven last season because we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season. And obviously, going on into this season, we need to see vast improvements, of course, because last season we finished 6th. We didn't win many silverware, and this is why it's very essential this summer that we do get the right recruitment in, we get the right players to Manchester United, of course, that can take us forward, because we do want to be back, to being a competitive elite level football club. this is why we know we need to get the right players in. I know we haven't got Champions League football, for next season. That's always very pivotal when you do want to get your number one targets. But Solskjaer was saying towards the back end of last season that he still believes we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season and all that. But we haven't won any silverware in the last couple of seasons. Obviously, we haven't won the Premier League, since 2013. That's obviously over 6 years ago now. But yeah, I do believe Wan-Bissaka, will be fantastic for us. Obviously, he'll be a perfect successor to Antonio Valencia, because obviously, Antonio Valencia has left the club after he served 10 years at Manchester United. I do believe he'll be a fantastic upgrade to Ash Young, and he'll be fantastic, covered up for Diego Dalot, because obviously, Diego Dalot is too inexperienced at the moment. But like I said, we didn't get anyone in January. We didn't get as number one targets last summer, because the main factor reason why we didn't get as number one targets last summer, because obviously, the board, at the time were back in the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. So, like I said, I don't believe we've only been given £100 million, to currently spend. This was coming for Mark Ogden, and he did bait Mark Ogden, and he basically said, further spending is likely dependent on, money that is raised by players' sales and all that. So I do presume anyway, that we're going to be selling Pogba. We are going to be selling Lukaku, and like I said, we do know how imperative, Paul Pogba is and all that. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is coming to accept the fact, that basically we should sell him now, to help us, raise some more money and all that. And I think it will help us with our rebuilding process. It will help us with our transition if we do cash in for Pogba and we're cashing for Lukaku. And I think we can raise around at least £200 million, for Lukaku's departure and Paul Pogba's departure and all that. I think it's very likely we're going to get rid of Darmian and Rojo, so we can also cash in for Darmian and Rojo. I think we can get around £25 or £30 million, for Matteo Darmian and Marcus Rojo and all that. So yeah, like I said, looking very imminent. It's looking very imminent. That Wan-Bissaka is going to be our second sign, and that is very good news. Of course, I have been reading reports today as well. There's another player now that Manchester United are interested in. He's called David Brooks. He plays for Bournemouth now. Reportedly, he's rated at around £50 million. Obviously, we've got Daniel James on the board, and obviously, he knows Daniel James well, does David Brooks, because obviously, they're both playing the Wales national team and all that. David Brooks is only 21 years of age and all that. I think, Bournemouth are reluctant, to sell him. I think he's primarily an attacking midfielder, but his versatility is very good. I think he can also put I think he has played out wide. He has played behind the front man. I think he's also played in a deep midfield role. But obviously, he's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, it was his debut season in the Premier League. Last season with Bournemouth, I think he played about 30 games. I think he was involved in about 12 goals, scored 7 goals, provided 5 assists and all that. So, do you think he would be the right solution for Manchester United? It got revealed he is a boyhood Manchester United fan. He's David Brooks. But yeah, Bournemouth, I think, got him last summer from Sheffield United for around £11.5 million. Obviously, initially signed a 4-year contract with Bournemouth, but I think back in March this year, he had signed a new long-term deal with Bournemouth, reflecting on his impressive performances. But before he was at Bournemouth, he was at Sheffield United, I think. I think he served about 3 years in their senior squad, and he was very impressive at Sheffield United. Obviously, he also had a loan spell with Halifax. But obviously, David Brooks has had experience, of playing in Manchester, because obviously he was at Manchester City, when he was a teenager and all that, graduated from their youth system, and he was in, their youth system, for a number of years. I think was he in their youth system for about 10 years, if I'm right. And obviously, I think he left Manchester City's youth system in 2014, then went to join, Sheffield United's youth system and all that. And yeah, so he's had experience playing in Manchester as David Brooks, but he is only 21 years of age. I think he made his senior debut for Wales in 2017. It also says that Tottenham have been in for David Brooks, but I think Manchester United would be happy to pay around £50 million for his services, because obviously we have got deficiencies in that midfield area, and obviously we're going to need a replacement for Paul Pogba. We're going to need a replacement for Ander Haran. We need someone to come in that can score us them goals in that midfield. So do you think that David Brooks would be the right solutions? I've been reading a lot of reports about him today, but you can see the deficiencies in the squad, and this is why Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad, to fulfil them areas where Manchester United are lacking. And obviously, he wants to build a squad, worthy of the club's history. But Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding. Like I said, we have been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, and the main factor reason why we've been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, because obviously, we have been mismanaged and all that. But like I said, I hope it works out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As he got the statue, statue, to command us in that position, where we do currently want to be. Time will tell, but I would give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least another year or 2 year, to see, how it currently works out and all that, because I don't want us to sack him, because I love him a lot. He was a great player for 11 years. I know he hasn't really got the experience of manager, especially not to the highest level, but I hope it works out under him, because, we haven't got the structure, to keep sacking managers. Obviously, we've already sacked 3 managers, since Alex Ferguson retired. Don't get me wrong, a hell of a lot of money's been invested into the club, in all the managerial areas. We've seen players come in, and of course, we have seen players go, and all that. But like I said, I don't believe, what he said about also, only getting £100 million, because £100 million, isn't enough, to, address the deficiencies in our current squad and all that. So I do believe it is £200 million, and obviously, like I said, it's going to amount up to a lot more than that if we're cashing for Pogba and we're cashing for Lukaku. But like I said, I think our expectations going on into next season will probably be to finish in the top 4, maybe win the Europa League, maybe win the Carabao Cup. But I think in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations, will be that top 5. I'm going to be quite honest with you, because at the moment, City are strides ahead of us. Liverpool, of course, are strides ahead of us. So it's very imperative that we catch up with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool and all that. So do you think, that David Buck, would be the right solution for Manchester United? Obviously, I've been updating you, haven't I, on a regular basis about Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. A lot of reports were coming out yesterday saying that Tottenham have held negotiations with his current agent and all that. This means it could force us, to make a final decision on Bruno Fernandes. However, it did basically say, we have notified Bruno Fernandes' representatives that we do need a bit more time, because obviously, want to get the deal over the line for Wan-Bissaka. And then I think our priority when we do get Wan-Bissaka on the board is to get a midfielder in, and obviously we're very hopeful it's going to be Bruno Fernandes and all that. But yeah, it confirmed that Bruno Fernandes' agent was in London on Wednesday having negotiations with Tottenham, because Tottenham have been in there for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, Tottenham have got quite a few midfielders on their agenda. Obviously, they're in for Tanguy Ndombele. I think Tanguy Ndombele is one of their main priority targets. I think also he's on Manchester United's agenda, is Tanguy Ndombele. Also, Tottenham have been in there for Giovanni Lo Celso from Real Betis. Also, we've been in there for Giovanni Lo Celso from Real Betis and all that. But yeah, quite a few teams have been in for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, Tottenham are seeing Bruno Fernandes as a replacement for Christian Eriksen, because obviously, Christian Eriksen is linked with a move to Real Madrid. But yeah, it came out the other day saying that, Liverpool were in there for him, and it did say, Liverpool had put a bid in for him, put a bid in for him around 45 million euros. Obviously, that equates to around 40 million in pounds sterling. I think Liverpool are actually, the first team, to put any formal bid in for Bruno Fernandes. But I'd still say, we're in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for him. Obviously, Ebola, the Portuguese press, reported on this the other week, saying that, we are considered to be the favourites, to get the player's signature. It did say, we are preparing to spend up to £70 million for his services. I think initially Sporting Lisbon, do want at least around £50 million for him, of course. But I think it's looking very imminent that Bruno Fernandes, will be playing his trade elsewhere next season, of course. But he has been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. We do know it's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. But I don't think he's on Manchester City's agenda now, because it confirmed the other week that City have pulled out of the race, and they have basically, withdrawn their interest and all that. But I think Manchester City were only willing to pay £47 million for him, but City were willing to offload a couple of their players as part of the deal. It came out about 4 or 5 days ago saying that Tottenham had ruled out the move for Bruno Fernandes, but now again they have currently revived their interest in. But he's only 24 years of age. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. Obviously, we would see him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba and all that. But I do really like him, and he's only 24 now. He hasn't really played to the highest level as yet. He's been at Sporting. There's been a couple of seasons. He scored 31 goals in all competitions last season for Sporting Lisbon, and yeah, he can score goals and all that. Like I said, he hasn't really played to the highest level as yet, but I do believe he's got all the attributes, to definitely succeed in the Premier League, and I do think he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. It came out quite a few weeks back saying that Ed Woodward was very hesitant over our move for Bruno Fernandes, because I think Ed Woodward has got reservations about us spending big on players who he doesn't think are going to step up to the mark. But I think Bruno Fernandes, definitely currently will. But yeah, I do like him a lot. It's very imperative that we get a deal over the line for him, because he's been one of our main priority targets, for quite some time now. Obviously, he's still under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. His initial release clause is around £86 million. But Bruno Fernandes was saying, was it a week or two back, that he still follows the Italian football. He watches it and all that, because obviously he spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger, with the likes of Sampdoria and Udinese. And he said he would talk to Sporting Lisbon about leaving, if a club comes in, with an offer, that he can't currently refuse. issues, but obviously a player of Bruno Fernandes' calibre, obviously he's going to want to rejuvenate his career, want to take his footballing career to the next level and all that. But Tottenham have now stepped up their interest, because obviously Tottenham know how essential it is for them, to do transfer activity this summer, because obviously Tottenham have not done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously the last player they signed was Lucas Moura, back in January 2018. Obviously their record sign at the moment is Davinson Sanchez, who they got from Ajax a couple of years ago. I think they paid around, was it £42 million to him and all that. But yeah, Tottenham haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows, and obviously I think this was prior to the Champions League final. Mauricio Pochettino threatened to resign as Tottenham manager. Obviously if he isn't back to him in his summer transfer window. But yeah, Tottenham have got quite a few midfielders on their agenda. Obviously they are in for Giovanni Lo Celso. They've been in for Tanguy Ndombele. Like I said, David Brooks is on their agenda. But talking about Giovanni Lo Celso, it also says we're in for Giovanni Lo Celso, and I don't really know much about this player, to be quite honest. I know he's 23 years of age. He is a midfielder, is Giovanni Lo Celso. I think reports came out last month, saying that Tottenham had a bid turned down for him from Real Betis. I think Real Betis are looking somewhere in the region of around 70 or 80 million pounds to him. Tottenham preparing to pay this and all that, but I think he has been one of Tottenham's priority targets. But like I said, only 23 years of age. He is Argentinian. Obviously, it was on his first season in La Liga last summer, with Real Betis. Obviously, Real Betis got him from PSG last summer. For the majority of last season, he was on loan with Real Betis, but obviously, Real Betis made the deal permanent, back in April and all that. And I think they paid around £20 million to make the deal permanent. But obviously, if Real Betis, do sanction him off, obviously PSG do benefit from it, because obviously, PSG do get a percentage of any sale and all that. And yeah, he's only 23 years of age. I think his actual initial release clause is around £88 million. I think he actually scored about 16 goals in all competitions in La Liga last season. But it did say, Manchester United were interested in signing, but I think it confirmed a couple of weeks back from his own preference he wants to make the move to Tottenham. So basically, you could say that Tottenham were seeing Bruno Fernandes as an alternative to Giovanni Lo Celso. They're also seeing Bruno Fernandes as a replacement, like I said, for Christian Eriksen. So I'm still hopeful that we can get a deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes. Now, give you some. Now I want to give you the latest news about Youri Tielemans, as I have been updating you about Youri Tielemans on a regular basis. Now, I think he would be a good, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously, he has been on Manchester United's agenda, because a lot of reports were reflecting out with the media last week. Basically, saying that we've arrived our interest. We have been in negotiations with Youri, Tielemans' agents, over coming to an agreement on a possible deal for him and all that. He's only 22 years of age, Youri Tielemans. Like I said, it came out about weeks ago saying that Manchester United were in for him. Also, Tottenham have been in for him. Manchester City, of course, have been in for him. But recent reports did say now that we've opted out of the race for Youri Tielemans. We've been offered the chance, to sign him, but reportedly, we've rejected the opportunity to complete a deal for him. He is available for a reasonable figure, because I think Monaco rate him at around £40 million. Obviously, a lot of people suggested out, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, because I think we actually, are moving away from the policy, of signing them well-established players, because it's not all about, signing them well-established players, like I said, because it doesn't always guarantee you success, doesn't always get you in that commanding position. That's been proven, because we've got a history of spending big on players, especially in recent years. Pogba 8 to 9 million, Lukaku of course 75 million pounds. So it's not always about spending big on players. But like I said about Youri Tielemans, £40 million is a reasonable figure. I think he confirmed Youri Tielemans that he's not expected to be at Monaco next season, so it's likely he will be playing his trade elsewhere next season. Obviously he had been on loan with Leicester since January. Obviously his loan spell has now come to a conclusion with Leicester, so obviously he has made the return back to Monaco. But like I said, he was very impressive throughout his loan spell with Leicester. Obviously he's had about 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Leicester were really impressed with him. Now Leicester obviously want to get him on a permanent deal. Leicester have been in talks with Monaco about this. Initially Monaco got him in 2017 from Anderlecht for around, was it £21 million. Obviously I think we was tracking him when he was at Anderlecht, because obviously Youri Tielemans actually began his career with Anderlecht. Obviously he's primarily a box-to-box midfielder. I think he can also play as an attacking midfielder again, so I think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. But yeah, there is so many midfielders on our agenda, and I do believe we need a holding midfielder, because like I said, Nemanja Matic isn't good enough, aging up, too slow, too ineffective in that midfield. Fellaini left back in January, and obviously Scott McTominay is too inexperienced at the moment, so I do believe we need a holding midfielder. Well, lads, I've been updating you about Paul Pogba on a regular basis. Now, I think it will be beneficial if we actually, do sell him, even though we do know how much of an imperative, player that Paul Pogba is. Let's be honest, he hasn't really been the fundamental player as we all thought he currently would have been. Reflecting back, what he did in his 4 years with Turin, because he did well. He exceeded expectation levels, but he hasn't really replicated this, form, since he did make the return to Manchester United. But I think it's looking very likely that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving. Obviously, he did confirm this last week on Sunday, I think it was, that he told reporters in Tokyo that he wants to leave Manchester United, and he's seeking for a new challenger and all that, and basically wants to rejuvenate his career. And a couple of main factors why he probably does want to leave Manchester United, because maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, wants to be playing amongst better players, he wants to be, obviously get better service and all that. He wants to be winning silverware and challenging and all that, and he's not experiencing this at Manchester United. So maybe they're the couple of main factors why he does want to leave the club. But yeah, he did tell Tokyo reporters he wants to leave Manchester United, and he actually publicly announced this for the first time, and he even did say he was willing to even go on strike to force a move away from Manchester United. He said he was willing to he's planning to submit a transfer request, and if that didn't work, he was even willing to go on strike with Paul Pogba. But I think, like I said, we're doing everything we can to try and convince him to remain at the football club. Obviously, it came out the other day saying that we was willing to offer him a long-term contract worth up to £500,000 a week. Obviously, Paul Pogba has got 2 years left on his current deal with an option to extend by a further year, and he's on about 290 grand a week. So if this was, if we were to come to an agreement to get this new long-term contract, with 500 grand a week, you get a pay rise around £200,000, something like that. And obviously, basically 500 grand a week, obviously it'd make him, the highest paid player at the club, alongside Alexis Sanchez. It also says we was willing to hand, I think we are set to hand Paul Pogba a loyalty bonus. I think worth almost £4 million, and I think he's set to be handed this payment at the beginning of next month. So I do believe that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving. Some Manchester United fans, will be happy that he's going to leave. Some Manchester United fans, will not be happy, that he's currently going to leave, because he's still an imperative player, of course, and arguably still one of the best midfielders in world football. When he's playing in the right vein and when he's playing in the right man, he's still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him. He's only 26 years of age, so quite frankly, he is in his prime. But yeah, I think recent reports have said Juventus have basically stepped their interest up in him, because obviously it is Juventus and Real Madrid that are battling out for his services. Obviously, it reflected about this a couple of weeks ago, saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing him, and it did basically say that that Juventus have held negotiations with his agent Raiola. It also confirmed last week that the Juventus director, I think it was, travelled to London, to hold a negotiation with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba and all that. So now Juventus have set their interest up in him. Probably more than likely, Juventus would have to maybe offload at least one or two of their essential players, to fund the move for Paul Pogba. I'm not too sure. I don't know if Juventus could afford him outright. I said they can't, because obviously we have put a huge price tag, we have put a huge transfer fee on him. But maybe Juventus are not keen on getting him on a straight cash payment. They may want to involve one or two of their players as part of the deal and all that. I was reading a report yesterday, and it did basically say that Juventus willing to offer us Douglas Costa as part of the deal for Paul Pogba, plus cash. Also, it came out the other week saying that one of the players Juventus willing to offer us was Paul Dybala and all that. And obviously, Paul Dybala has been on Manchester United's agenda for quite some time. There has been reports going on about Paul Dybala saying that he could leave Juventus this summer. This was actually stemming from his agent and his brother and all that, because obviously last season he enjoyed a very difficult time with Juventus. He was in and out of the team, because obviously since the arrival of Cristiano Ronaldo last summer, Paul Dybala has found game time very difficult. But don't get me wrong, he has demonstrated in his 4-year period in Turin, Dybala, he can play well and he can lead the lines and all that. Obviously, if we were to get him, we would see him as a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. I think he did say before he's initially rated at around £85 million. He is 25 years of age. He's still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him. I have got reservations about Dybala. Some of his touches concern me. His defensive abilities, do actually concern me. Not really good at tracking back. He's not really good in the air, in my opinion, but he can still score goals. Can Paulo Dybala. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's a crap player. I think he's good, and I think he would bring us them goals to Manchester United, and that would be good enough if he came to Manchester United and brought us them goals whilst he was adapting other areas of his game. But he came out a couple of weeks ago saying that was one of the players Juventus were willing to offer us and all that. But I think for a long time his likely destination has actually been Real Madrid, and I think his first choice preference has been Real Madrid, because obviously Zinedine Zidane wants to get a deal over the line for Paul Pogba. But basically we've indicated that Paul Pogba is not for sale, because basically we are reluctant to sign, but I think we want around £150 million, and I think we would accept a bid in the region of around £150 million. we would accept a bid in the region of 150 million pounds and all that, but I think actually Real Madrid are reluctant to pay up to the 150 million pounds for his services. So basically, Real Madrid are not keen on a straight cash payment, but possibly could Bale be still part of the deal with Paul Pogba, because it came out the other week saying that was one of the players Real Madrid were willing to offer us as part of the deal for Paul Pogba and all that. But yeah, it's one of Zinedine Zidane's main targets. Like I said, Real Madrid have obviously now got 5 players on the board so far this summer. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane knows that Paul Pogba will help him with his own rebuilding project. Obviously, like I said, Christian Eriksen's on their agenda, and probably Christian Eriksen would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid, than Paul Pogba and all that. But yeah, Zinedine Zidane wants to get Paul Pogba on the board, but they're not willing to pay up to 150 million pounds for his services and all that. But Paul Pogba did say a while back about his dreams of playing for Real Madrid. He classified them as one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he did say at some point in his career, he actually wants to play for Real Madrid. Obviously, it confirmed a while back that talks had stalled, between Pogba and Real Madrid, based on the wage demands. Obviously, Paul Pogba's on about 13 million a year, of course, with Manchester United. Obviously, he did say Paul Pogba was willing to take a pay cut, to make his move to Real Madrid. But yeah, it has been Real Madrid and Juventus that have been battling out for his services. Maybe Paul Pogba will be open to making the return back to Turin, because like I said, he did have 4 good years there, don't forget. And I think the Juventus director has confirmed how much Juventus love Paul Pogba. But I think they definitely would take him back and all that. But obviously we had Paul Pogba when he was younger. I think we got him in 2009 from Lee Harvey. Obviously we got him when he was younger. Obviously I think he was up the ranks for a couple of years and then made a couple of first team appearances. This was under the Alex Ferguson era, by the way. But obviously based on limited appearances, we had to let him go on a free transfer, and then he went and had 4 good years in Turin. But Solskjaer, it was initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to actually build a side around Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba was subject to a lot of transfer speculation last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Of course, Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho, of course, got sacked from the club, because obviously they had a bad relationship. There was talks about him making the return to Juventus last year. I think there was also talks in January of him going to Barcelona and all that. But I probably do believe he's going to be leaving the club. With us, obviously he's won the Europa League and the League Cup. Obviously that came in Paul Pogba's second season with Manchester United. But obviously he is our most expensive player, so it is very essential that we do get a replacement for him. So there is so many midfielders on our current agenda. Obviously, I give you the news yesterday, didn't I? In regards to Romelu Lukaku. Now, it's looking very, very likely. He's going to be leaving the club. Obviously, he has spent 2 years with Manchester United, but obviously now it's confirmed he's surplus to requirements. Initially, has lost his place in the team, but actually, Lukaku was first choice when Mourinho was here. But since Mourinho left, and obviously since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been recommended in, Lukaku has been, he's lost his place in the team. And initially, we do know that Rashford is first choice ahead of him, and Lukaku is reluctant, to play a backup role to Marcus Rashford. But basically, I think it's very beneficial anyway if we do sell Romelu Lukaku, because I do believe he's one of the problematic players at Manchester United. As you all do know, I have got strong reservations about him. But it has basically confirmed that he is heavily linked with move to Inter Milan. I think reports came out, I was reading yesterday from the Daily Mail. It did reportedly say that Lukaku has agreed a deal with Inter Milan worth around £180,000 a week, and I think he has agreed a 5-year deal with them and all that, and he has agreed the personal terms. But obviously, they have not yet come to an agreement on a fee, and I still believe Inter Milan are negotiating with us over coming to an agreement on a fee. And I think the fee could be problematic for Inter Milan, because obviously we want around £75 million, and I think Inter Milan are reluctant to pay £75 million for him. Basically, we want to recruit the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago, because we got him for £75 million. Obviously, there were several add-ons included of around £15 million, which initially was in the deal to around £90 million. He has still got 3 years left on his contract term as Lukaku, and he's on about £258,000 a week. But initially, everything has currently been agreed, and from Lukaku's perspective, he wants to make the move to Inter Milan. But obviously, we do know Antonio Conte has identified him as his number 1 target. Obviously, Antonio Conte obviously really, really likes him, and I think obviously Lukaku is eager to play under Antonio Conte's guidance and all that, because probably Lukaku believes if flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance. But Antonio Conte, you know, reflecting back a couple of years ago, you know, wanted Romelu Lukaku, and this is when Antonio Conte was manager of Chelsea. But obviously, we do know that you know, we got Lukaku instead of Chelsea and all that. So Antonio Conte, you know, definitely wants him. But you know, the fee, you know, could be problematic for Inter Milan because they're not willing to pay up to £75 million for his services. He came out a couple of weeks ago saying that we wanted around £80 million. Then it said we want at least around £62 million. But you know, they've just got to come to an agreement on a fee and all that. But like I said, he has been at Manchester United, you know, 2 years as Lukaku. Obviously, scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. You know, did really well in his first season, but you know, didn't replicate that of course in his second season. I think Manchester United told him a couple of weeks ago, you know, that he can leave the club, but Solskjaer's confirmed that Lukaku is surplus to requirements at Old Trafford. But maybe we still think he's worth between £70 to £80 million. You know, reflecting on his age and all that. You know, he's only 26, he's in his prime. You know, he has still got a lot of development in him. And even though I think he's very slow, he's a big game bottler and all that, he's not really good in the air, he hasn't really got that endless potential. You know, his ratio is still very good in the Premier League because he scored a lot of goals in the Premier League. His pedigrees are very, very good in the Premier League. So I do believe he'll end up, you know, making the move to Inter Milan. So then obviously it's very imperative that we do get a replacement for him, because obviously, you know, reflecting back last season, there wasn't only issues defensively because we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season. Also, you know, there was issues, you know, up front and all that, because, you know, wasn't scoring enough goals, wasn't ruthless enough in front of goal and all that. And we need someone to come in, you know, that can deliver us them goals. Like I said, obviously Rashford is not reliable enough at the moment, you know, to get us them goals that we do currently need, because obviously, you know, Rashford hasn't graduated to that level yet, like I currently said. So I do believe we need attacking reinforcements and all that. So yeah, I think we need to get rid of Romelu Lukaku. But like I said, they haven't come to an agreement on a fee. Inter Milan, of course, have offered us Icardi in exchange for Romelu Lukaku, because obviously, you know, Icardi is one of the players that Inter Milan, you know, want to get rid of on that. I think he lost the captaincy in February, you know, did Mario Icardi, and I like Mario Icardi a lot. I think he's about the same age as Lukaku, isn't he? 26 years of age. Obviously, has spent the majority of his career in Italy. The majority of his goals he has scored have come in Italy and all that. He has been at Inter Milan 6 years. Obviously, I think he scored like over 100 odd goals and all that. He's Inter Milan's 9th top goal scorer of all time. And I would be keen on bringing Mario Icardi in, but I just don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's keen on recommending him in. Obviously, you know, he came out the other week saying that Inter Milan had offered us Ivan Perisic plus cash in exchange for Lukaku. But again, you know, Manchester United had turned this down because obviously, you know, we're not keen on Ivan Perisic. He was a long-term target under Mourinho, but we are no longer in for Ivan Perisic. So I think if we're willing to let Lukaku go as part of any swap deal, I think we would want, you know, Milan Skriniar and all that. But I think Inter Milan are reluctant, you know, to sell Milan Skriniar, because actually, you know, Milan Skriniar has just recently signed a new contract with Inter Milan and all that. But he was one of the players that actually, you know, Jose Mourinho, you know, wanted last summer. I think I did say as well that Inter Milan reportedly, you know, need to raise around £40 million by the end of this month, you know, to meet financial fair play regulations and all that. So yeah, I do believe that Lukaku is going to be leaving the football club. I think another problem with Manchester United, you know, we have let far too many players' contracts run down. Obviously, you know, that's been another issue. Obviously, as it got confirmed, we have given Juan Mata a new 3-year contract. I updated you about that the other day. That's a shock, you know, to be quite honest. I didn't think, you know, we'd have given a new long-term contract, you know, reflecting on his age and that, because he's 31 years of age as well. I thought we may give him probably a 1-year extension or something like that, but we've actually, you know, given him a new long-term contract. In a way, I'm kind of happy about this, because, you know, I'm a big fan of Juan Mata. You know, he's been very consistent for Manchester United. Obviously, you know, he has been here 5 years. Obviously, you know, he has made over 200 odd appearances in all competitions, scored about 45 goals, and he's been very consistent, because I know initially now he doesn't even get in the team. He's basically, you know, used as a squad player, as Juan Mata, but we have been in negotiation, you know, for quite some time, you know, for trying to get him a new contract term and all that. But yeah, I'm very, very surprised that we're giving him this new long-term contract. Obviously, like I said, he's 31 years of age. He's been in the Premier League about 8 years in total. You know, this was including his 2.5, 3 years he had with Chelsea when he was younger. But for Manchester United, he's been a good servant. Obviously, you know, he's won the Europa League and League Cup with us. Obviously, that was in Jose Mourinho's first season. Of course, he's won the FA Cup with us. Obviously, you know, that was under Louis van Gaal back in 2015. But he has scored quite a lot of goals for Manchester United. Obviously, there was talks about him, you know, making the return to Spain, because Barcelona were in talks of getting him on a free transfer, and there were also, you know, talks of him going to Newcastle, because he did say, you know, Newcastle were in there for Juan Mata. So obviously he's 31, so he's going to be under contract in Manchester United until he's 34 years of age and all that. But yeah, he has initially, you know, lost his place in the team. Rashford, like I said, is in the final year of his deal. I don't think Manchester United have orchestrated on selling Marcus Rashford. I think, you know, we need to get him a contract extension. We have been in talks of trying to get Marcus Rashford a new contract, you know, for quite some time. for quite some time now. We've been trying to get Marcus Rashford a new contract. With the De Gea situation, like I said about De Gea, it could be looking likely now he's going to be staying at Manchester United, David De Gea, after now PSG have reportedly pulled him out of the race for him, and now reportedly PSG are turning their attention more on Donnarumma from AC Milan. Initially, David De Gea was linked with a £60 million move to PSG and all that, and I think that was is actually his likely destination. He could be. I think he probably will be at Manchester United next season, but we have still got that risk of losing him on a free next year. Of course, if the club don't come to an agreement to get him a new contract, because he's in the final year of his deal. Obviously, at least in the last 18 or 19 months, we have been in negotiation trying to get David De Gea a new contract. He reportedly made it clear, he wants around 350 grand a week if he's to sign a new contract and if he is to remain loyal to the club. But reportedly, we're not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demand. So basically, he wants to be the highest player alongside Alexis Sanchez at the club. And obviously, he's been at Manchester United 8 years, so he has been a long servant here. He has made over 300 appearances in all competitions for Manchester United. He's won everything he domestically. He's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the last 6 years. Reflecting on his impressive performances and all that. And hasn't really done much wrong in his 8-year period. I know he made mistakes towards the back end of last season, but that was mainly to do with the contractual situation and all that. But he is 28, and De Gea has still got quite a lot of development in him. I think David De Gea at full value for the goalkeeper. He's definitely worth around £100 million. But obviously, we're not going to get £100 million from him because obviously he's in the final year of his current deal and all that. So it could be looking likely he's staying at Manchester United next season. Obviously, we do know he's been linked to a move to Real Madrid for a number of years and all that. And obviously, reflecting back into 2015, Real Madrid were on the brink of currently getting him, but due to a fax machine, of course, the deal never materialised. So his likely destination has been, PSG, but now PSG are focusing more on Donnarumma and all that. But yeah, like I said, we've been trying to get David De Gea a contract, for a long time now, but he's potentially, the best goalkeeper in the world. If he was to leave, obviously, I think we need definitely to buy a goalkeeper, to replace him. I think it came out about 3 weeks ago saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper, because I said I've got reservations about this because I don't think Romero's reliable enough to come our number one goalkeeper yet. We've got Dean Henderson, but like I said, I think we need to orchestrate on loaning Dean Henderson out for another season because Dean Henderson hasn't really got the experience as yet. So I have got concerns about that. But if we loan him out for another season, it will gain him a bit more experience. But I think Dean Henderson is too inexperienced at the moment. So yeah, I think we definitely need to buy a goalkeeper to replace him if he leaves. But I think, according to recent reports, it's likely it will be at Manchester United next season. Will David De Gea? But yeah, again, we've let his contract run down far too much. We let Ander Herrera, of course, go on a free transfer. I think it was a bad mistake from the club, giving Smalling and Jones new long-term contracts. Obviously, Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years, and they're too inconsistent now for Manchester United, and they're no longer, good enough to represent Manchester United. And like I said, they shouldn't be here next season, but looking more than likely that Smalling and Jones are going to be at Manchester United next season. Like I said, I think we need 2 central defenders anyway. We definitely need someone that can, complement Victor Lindelof in our back line. And like I said, there has been quite a few central defenders on our current agenda. Obviously, like I've updated you on, like I said, but yeah, that's mainly everything to update today. But like I said, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to be able to succeed in these conditions now? Because obviously, we're not expected, to appoint a sporting director in and all that. And obviously, we're trying to get a director of football in at least for the last 2 to 3 months. So many names, were linked with that director's role at Manchester United. And I'm very frustrated about this because that's a structural change, that we did need at the club. Is getting a director of football in and all that. So obviously, we're going to be sticking with the same structure. Obviously, Ed Woodward is going to be overseeing our transfer business this summer and all that. So I'm very frustrated about that because obviously we needed to get a director of football, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs backing in this summer transfer window. But lots to do, like I said, none of this squad's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. The only player that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's at the moment is Daniel James. Obviously, like I said, he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. Obviously, there's still players here from the Louis van Gaal era and all that. We know obviously Herrera was one of Van Gaal's players, but obviously he's currently left the club. There's actually no matter here from the David Moyes era. Initially, there was Fellaini here, but obviously he left back in January. And obviously, there's still 4 or 5 players here from the Alex Ferguson era. So looking at on this squad is easy, and hopefully, he can elevate us forward. Can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I really hope he can, because he was a great player for us. He had the pedigree as a player, but he hasn't really got it as a manager. So I hope it really works out for him because I love him a lot.
But I just wanted to talk to you about David Brooks, like I said, from Sheffield, from Bournemouth. Sorry, obviously, Bournemouth got him from Sheffield United last summer for around they got him for around £11.5 million. He did well in his debut season in the Premier League. He was involved in 12 goals. Played 30 games for Bournemouth last season. Now reportedly Manchester United are in for him. It also says that Tottenham are in for him because, like I said, he has had experience of playing in Manchester as David Brooks. Because obviously, he actually began his career with Manchester City. He was in their youth academy, for a number of years, and then he left Manchester City, went in Sheffield United's youth academy, and then obviously broke into their first team. And I think he had 3 years in Sheffield United's senior squad and all that. I think he also had a loan spell with Halifax Town. I forgot to mention. But yeah, there has been talks about him, going on quite rarely because we need to, we need to add ranks in that midfield. But yeah, so anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.